Welcome to Set the Sails, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers podcast. Brought to you by Bucs Life Media and our official sponsor, the Jersey Wave. Streaming on FanStreamSports.com, airing on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And now, your hosts, James Flash Ludeman, James Britbuck Wilson, and Ruth the Truth Cagias. We are going live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, good evening. Happy Monday to everyone out there viewing episode 14 of Set the Sails. My name is Ruth the Truth Cagias. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys blowing up our comments. Make sure to be calling in and ask us any questions you would like and just have some conversation. Tonight's going to be a great show. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on our next host. We have James Flash Ludeman.
Hey, what's going on, Ruth the Truth?
Hey, good to see you, buddy. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. The Rays are dominating right now.
I see that 6-1 with back-to-back homers.
Yeah,
wow.
Tom Brady showed up today to training camp, so it's exciting. Good stuff.
Looking up. Sports are coming back, whether you like it or not, people.
Let's go.
We also have our next host. We cannot forget Britbuck Wilson will be joining us. How you doing, Britbuck?
I am absolutely amazing. And you know what you mentioned about the Rays and sports being back. James and myself, we were watching the Rays and Jays series, and that, you know what, it goes into 10th inning.
Series, by the way? Who won that series? I forgot.
Do you know what? This is not the point I'm making, but you know what? When it got into that 10th innings, and it was like, you know what? This is what live sports is all about. Edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen because it's not happened before, and you are living and dying on that swing of a bat. It's amazing. Like, sports is back.
No one's taking sports for granted anymore, especially our next host that will be joining us, El Bushman. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. The Rays just scored another run.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Yes.
I'm actually 2 runs, so it's now 8-1.
Wow.
It is getting
that escalated quickly.
That escalated quickly. Other than the fact that I almost didn't come on the show tonight because I feel kind of nauseous, but I'm okay. Right. How is everybody?
I'm going through finals right now, so I haven't slept in 3 days, but I'm hanging in.
Wow.
And I also want to say I'm in HD now. As you guys can tell, I'm in HD.
Wow.
I got a webcam over the weekend. I'm in HD now. How's it going?
You look great.
Thank you.
Wow.
You look great and sound great. It's
the voice. It gets you every time, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Every time.
That's right.
Every time. It's the silky smooth sound of El Bushman.
Oh gosh, here we go. All right, before this gets going again, we're going to stop that now. Anyway, so I want to bring on a very special guest now. He's been on our show a couple times now, and he's joining us again. And tonight is actually a special occasion for him to be with us because there is a very special charity that's going on right now. And I wanted to bring him on because he's just, first of all, he's just a great friend of the show. But secondly, because, listen, we're Bucs fans and we want to support the Buccaneers in every way that we can, including with charity. And so I'm going to bring Big Nasty on with us. What's up, buddy?
Big Nasty!
Hey, guys. Great to see y'all. Hey,
Welcome
I appreciate
back.
you having me on.
Which
to set the sails with you, baby.
Which we found out before the show that there is a Justice League Hall of Justice for superfans in the NFL, which is awesome, by the way.
And you must be the leader.
I wish I was the leader. The president, Steve Tate, they call him the owner from Green Bay. He's the president, but I am on the board of directors, believe it or not.
Whoa, they have a board of directors? That's awesome.
It's a big deal. I mean, you got to figure it's been going on since, 1999. So that's when they started inducting Hall of Fame into the Canton, Ohio. So pretty cool stuff.
They scored again?
Yeah, it's 9-1.
Oh my gosh, we just need to keep the show going because they're just going to continue to score as long as we're on.
Let's go, Rays.
So Big Nasty, let's talk a little bit about the charity that you have going on. I want to give you the floor for a little bit here and just kind of tell us what's happening and what we can do to help and what exactly it is that's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was about right after the Super Bowl where we got back from doing the Hall of Fame festivities. And I got a person that reached out to me named Madeline from Wheelchairs for Kids. That's Wheelchairs for Kids. And I was like, well, pretty much says it all right there, right? Big nasty with kids. And when you're talking about how expensive wheelchairs are, it isn't just like the old roll one out the hospital. Some of these are very, very high tech. And I know some super fans out there right now. They're Buck fans that are actually have wheelchairs that are pretty high tech, and they could even tell you how expensive they are. So she reached out to me, and they do this thing where they they put you in jail, right? And, I can care less about being put in jail as long as you get me out of it. But they put a bounty on. And I said, I'd be honored to raise money for this, especially when I dug deep into it. 70% down this year, guys, because of the virus. They couldn't have their annual at Charlie's Steakhouse where they normally have the event. And that was supposed to be back in March. So now they're going to have this down in Safety Harbor, the actual event itself. So we're all raising money for the great cause. Hey, let's face it, man. If you can help a kid out and get him a wheelchair that he needs to get around, to get to school. I mean, school's starting to come back here shortly. So, yeah, I mean, you can donate anything, $5, $10, $15. I don't care. Whatever your heart desires. The main thing is they have a $3,000 goal on it. And you know what? If we can get close to that, if every one of my Facebook friends only donated $1, we crush the goal. So anything you guys can do. I know it's a tough situation with the pandemic going on, but hey, help out a great cause because it really, truly is. And we ended up yesterday, we had a pool party at the house for Sunday Night Football. And we got a lot of the super fans together, and we did a short little video to do a shout out for that. And it's funny, you get the guy in makeup and all of a sudden people want to donate. So I figured nothing better to go on a podcast with you guys and hopefully raise a few dollars for the kids.
Yeah, and I have that website here, and actually Bucks Life Media, we posted that in the comments. So if you guys are interested in that, it is down there in the comment section. All you need to do is click on it. Right now they're at 11% of the goal. So I think we could do a good job of helping this cause. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us. Obviously we know what you do in the community. That obviously, what does that mean to you to just be so active inside of this Tampa Bay community?
Well, let's face it, guys. Tampa Bay is near and dear to my heart, always will be. And when we notice that, little fame of being a big nasty in a Hall of Fame, you got to do something with it. And I always told you guys, even when I was on the show before, it's about giving back, not just as a fan, but as a human being. Do something for your community. It feels good. And it doesn't have to be enormous. Like I think I told you guys, you can help an old lady across the street that makes you feel good. So, like I said, hey, maybe this could make you feel good out there. Put $1, put $5, put $10, whatever you can afford to do. It's helping a great cause, and it's definitely going to a charity that needs it.
Yeah, I hope that obviously we get there and you do get this goal, because coming from myself as someone who has worked in healthcare, worked with people with disabilities in various stages, they are incredibly expensive. But you know what? Once these people who need the chairs have them, they're lifesavers. They are a difference between being able to get out into the community and not be held back by that disability, and not having the chair and being isolated. So guys, watching this live, watching this on the repeat, everyone, we all know who Big Nasty is as well. Just get in touch, just reach into your pockets and pull out whatever you can, because every little bit is going to help make such a difference. And it's such a worthy charity as well.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys big time. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's $1. I mean, it all goes into the same kitty. And like I said, if we can hit the goal, who knows, maybe even exceed the goal, it would be definitely worthwhile, and definitely would be a great cause to help.
So Keith, if I can just intro, I just want to ask a quick question here. Do you know off the top of your head how many Facebook friends you have?
Well, I have over 5,000. And then, how everybody wants to go ahead and say, hey, I want to add you, and I can't add them. So what I do is I put them over to the Big Nasty one, because then they see both sides, because that's everything I post in charity on my personal page, Keith Kunzig. I put it on my Big Nasty page. So this way there is no limit there, right? So, and that's what it's about just getting out there and, doing it on Twitter, doing it on Instagram. Like I said, I know there's a million charities out there. And if you can afford to do it, please do. It'd mean the world to me. And like I said, we're helping out a great cause in a meeting room.
Yeah, it is. And guys, as you said, if just $1 each from one of your Facebook friends and you smash that target, and I think everyone can afford maybe at least $1. I don't know.
Give up a cup of coffee for me for one day. That's all.
Yeah,
one cup of coffee. That's all we need for these kids. Come on, guys. I know that you're going to be able to hit your goal, and I'm really happy that you are giving back to the community that's given so much to your heart. So we really appreciate you getting that together. We really do.
Ruth, you're the best. I appreciate all of you. You know that.
And you can see that right down there as well. We put that right up on the screen, so you can see that link also and check that out.
The race score is still now 9-1. The push-ups are going back in the dugouts. Just to let you guys know.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, all right. How many did they score on that one? That one run?
They got what? They got 7 in one inning.
In that one inning, it was a lot. It was a lot.
What?
I'm impressed.
Gotta love the home team, guys. Gotta love the home team.
It's somewhere out here, and I can't.
There we go. There we go.
All right, give me a minute. All right. Well, Keith, real quick before we let you go, I want to talk to you about this story that broke today. Just real quick. Obviously, Keyshawn Vaughn, running back, looks like he's going to be added to the COVID list. Now, it doesn't say for sure that he is the one who necessarily has it, but it also says that he could have it, or he have come into contact with somebody who does have it. So what's your kind of reaction to this? And obviously I'd say it's a pretty bad blow for him right now, especially being a rookie who's trying to earn a starting position. So kind of just talk us through what's going on with that.
Well, let's face it, when we got him in the draft, I was stoked. I mean, this kid could run the ball. But the thing is, it's all about reps in this game, guys, and you got to have the reps. The good thing is Jonesy should hold it, for a little bit. He can play catch up later on. I think I don't know if I don't know what to believe or what not to believe. I think they have to have 2 negatives before they can come back. So what are we talking? 2-3 weeks out? Wow, that's a lot of time. So let's just pray that he gets healthy and stays healthy, and and let's keep this disease away from $1. That's for sure.
No wonder he wasn't answering my tweets the other day. I asked him to be on my show, Sports Caffeine, and I guess that's the reason why he's got COVID. Damn it. Twitter denied, I know.
Yeah, it is worrying me that, the NFL season, is just around the corner and all these people seem to become positive. They had the Marlins earlier today had to cancel their game because 8 of their players had tested positive, as well as some of their coaching staff. So I'm kind of getting a little worried about the NFL season. I mean, I know that they haven't made any decisions on the bubble or what they're going to do exactly, but I feel like if it's going to continue to work for the NBA, then the NFL might just have to consider.
Yeah, but I think to put the NFL in a bubble, you're not going to be able to do it. There's too many personnel. There's too many players. There's no way to handle that type of volume. Right. So they're just going to have to be careful. And you got to expect this. Players are going to get COVID no matter what. Even if they're in the bubble or outside the bubble, they're going to get COVID no matter what. So I would say, looking ahead, they got to have depth, and that's something the Bucs are really kind of weak at is depth especially when it comes to the running back position. So they got to be prepared for this, and when it comes to fantasy football, you got to be prepared for that too as well. So,
right, I feel like if they have everybody on IVs and everybody's keeping their vitamins, then we'll see what happens.
Just give them some Tussin and some Alka-Seltzer and maybe a little puff here and there, and you'll be okay.
Oh my gosh! All right, goodness. All right, so hey, real quick, Big Nasty, tell us where we can find you. Obviously, I know you're all over social media, but just kind of plug yourself for a second. Maybe, obviously, outside of this, is there anything else you got going on right now, or?
Right now, that's what I'm setting out to do right now is just help out wheelchairs for kids. I'm sorry. Concentrating on that right now. I mean, you guys got me so flustered talking about this COVID. I'm having a heart attack before minicamp. So, golly, that's all we need. Let's kill that stuff, man. But,
for real.
But all in all, you can reach me at Keith Kunzig on Facebook. You can reach me at 2001 Hall of Fame Buccaneer fan, Big Nasty on Facebook as well. Twitter, Big Buck Nasty. Shoot away. You'll see the link. I'll be putting it up there probably every other day, and you guys will get sick and tired of seeing it. But like I said, let's help out a great cause, and let's make a difference for the kids.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Keith, thank you so much for your time. Big Nasty, always a friend of our show. And thank you very much for joining us today. And hopefully you have a good rest of your evening as well.
I'm sure we'll be seeing you very soon, Big Nasty. Thanks so much for coming on. Episode 14 of Set the Sails.
Stay blessed, guys.
All right, sounds good. Well, we're going to give the floor now to Ruth again. And Ruth is going to bring on our next guest. Ruth, the truth, take it away, friend.
I've finally recruited some talent for episode 14. We are going to be introducing...
Whoa. You get muted for that right there. That is a mute offense. What do you mean talent? What is this? No, now we can't hear you at all. See?
Now she's really muted now.
Yeah, I have you.
No. I was saying me bringing talent, like me, myself, bringing somebody.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
what it sounded like to me. I don't know about anybody else.
James, you give her a platform to host, and this is what she does.
And all of a sudden,
I even backed him up. I know.
Wow. Anyway, sorry. Ruth, you were saying.
My good friend is going to be joining us today, Mr. Ron Roberts, who is the vice president of sports fan base out of Rhode Island. He's probably one of the biggest Patriots fans you guys will meet. And Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You kind of introed me. Now I'm stuck with this real talent thing going on, and everyone hates me.
Ron, I don't mean to cut you off, but Hunter Renfrow just went yard again.
No, he did not.
So that's 2 home runs today plus a single. So he's 3 for 3 with two home runs.
Wow.
10-1.
They were drinking the juice before the game started.
So Ron, I noticed you have that. I noticed you have that hideous looking Patriots jersey. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
but
hasn't burned it yet. What number's on it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, this is Malloy. So see, I'm taking it back.
Okay.
The original captain. All right. He's from the first Super Bowl team. So there you go. But no, I got to keep it real because everybody up here is trying to, lynch me right now because first I'm on a Bucs podcast and obviously, the whole area is just going. There's 80% of the people call Brady. The other percent of people love him, and 10% of girls who just want to marry him anyway. So it doesn't matter where he plays. So now
I'm just curious. Are we the enemy now?
No. No, and here's the thing is, I'm a closet Bucs fan anyway, so this was like one of the greatest things I could ever. Was gonna leave eventually. Thank God he ended up there. So now I can at least buy a jersey.
Ron, I know it's one thing for having Tom Brady come down to Tampa, but also now Gronkowski is now a Buccaneer. Did everybody in the New England area just say, throw their clam chowder in the sea and, took their cars and maybe unparked them from the car and just kind of said, you know what, we're done because Tom Brady is no longer a Patriot and so is Gronk?
Well, the thing is that it was, when Brady went, obviously he's an icon, right? So that's like legend and lore. So there goes Tom Brady. I mean, that's a dagger. But Gronk was a fan favorite, but there's also a lot of people that could have done without him. Obviously, he's great on the field. I mean, he did have a lot of injuries, but there's so many antics that would go on with him off the field, which I loved being in this business because it gave me a lot to talk about. But some people were like, you could take him or leave him. Obviously not the production on the field, but just him as a person. I love him. Him and I are buds. We've hung out before. I love Gronk. Great guy. I mean, he obviously was crazy when he was younger. He's calmed down just a little, not a lot, but a little. But now, it's the combo. So it's the combo of Brady and Gronk. I mean, if they have any type of production this year like they've had in the past with Evans and Godwin, I mean, you guys got, to me, as long as the line can hold up, because obviously Brady can't move that well, I mean, that's going to be a stellar offense.
I agree. And piggybacking off of Gronkowski, how do you feel about Madden rating him at a 95 when he didn't play the whole season last year? He's lost a ton of weight. I mean, are you a little skeptical about how this man's going to come out after being in retirement for a year?
Well, so let me ask you a question. When we talk about Gronk, you can't talk about Gronk without talking about the Gronkowski Five. Now, you know all these guys, right? They go in a clan everywhere they go. So it's all the brothers and the dad. And if you've ever seen these guys in person, it's like it's like physical fitness 101. These guys are incredibly like fit, huge. The dad is Diesel. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. So they're not gonna let Rob come back without getting him trained. And I mean, obviously, this is a guy that saved all his NFL money. So he's got all the money in the world to get himself ready. He'll be fine.
Plus, Rob is now on the CBD. He's eating healthy now, and he's doing Pilates. He's taking care of his body. Ron, I wanted to ask you about what's going up in New England about Jared Stidham and also Cam Newton.
Oh, well,
who do the New England Patriot fans want to start at QB? Is it we got a team Stidham or we got a team Cam Newton up there?
It's split. It's definitely split because everyone would love to think that Belichick could come up here and reform Newton. So Newton comes up here. I mean, he's nuts. This guy. I mean, but he obviously has the physical attributes in the gameplay, and he's got the resume. So if they could get him back on track, I mean, the guy could be lights out. There is a possibility. Stidham's steady, reliable, has a great future ahead of him. I don't know here's my thought. If they believed in him that much and really thought he was going to be the face of the franchise, they don't go get Cam Newton.
But don't you think that's more of an insurance policy just in case Stidham doesn't do well? Because your backup before Cam Newton is Brian Hoyer. I mean, we all know what Brian Hoyer can do, and that's not much.
Well, Hoyer was always Brady's backup, and Brady, you were always, everyone in New England was always holding their breath. Because we were like, all right, well, if Brady gets hurt, we're screwed. If Brady gets hurt, we're screwed. So, and you didn't have that. There was that time with Garoppolo, Brissett. I feel like that was a pretty strong three. But that was few and far between where Brady had a really solid backup. So, I don't think that, in New England, I don't feel like Belichick has proven that he doesn't really sit there and rely on that backup as much. But now if you bring in Newton, and Stidham even throws up on himself just once, Newton's seeing the field. I feel like that's the way it's going to be, unless he steals the job from him right away. That's quite a possibility as well.
That's what I see happening. I see Cam Newton fitting into that offense great, and I see him starting for the season.
I disagree.
The possibility.
I disagree.
I don't know.
Don't you always?
I would. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to root for whoever's obviously throwing the ball. I would love to see Newton on the field. I think that I would really like to see him on the field. I think he brings a spark. He's going to keep the Patriot kind of like mantra alive. Stidham's not that guy, that personality, not what we need in New England. I mean, guys, we're the greatest sports town in America, man.
Whoa. Let's back it up there, Ron. Come on.
Let's hold on for a second. He might live somewhere completely different. He might live nowhere near Massachusetts.
No, I'm right here. I'm literally 35 minutes from right outside of Boston.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about. I gave him a chance.
Ron, I want to ask you a question, because here's the thing. Listen, I actually am on this Cam Newton bandwagon. I think he could play well. I think he can actually come in and make an immediate difference. You're talking about a guy who was MVP 5 years ago. It's not like he was MVP, 20 years ago, and you're catching him at the end of his career. No, you're catching a guy who was a legitimate NFL MVP, got his team to the Super Bowl. Mind you, he didn't play very well at all. And
97 yards offensively,
terrible. But what I will say, he still was a big part of getting his team there.
That team was lights out. How they lost that game, that Panthers team was amazing. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I was really confused. I was drunk and confused.
Ron, I want to go back to your comments about, they need that personality. Tom Brady wasn't really a personality until he won a couple of Super Bowls. Do you really need a huge, big personality like that? I mean, Cam Newton's got all he's got going for him. He's his grandma clothes and his grandma line. I mean, that's the personality. I don't think Bill Belichick wants that distraction, honestly.
Well, we've had distractions here, right? We've brought some here and they've worked. We've brought some here and they failed. Ocho Cinco failed.
There was another guy named Antonio Brown, right? Some guy like that.
Ouch.
Corey Dillon. If someone remembers a guy named Corey Dillon.
Yeah, Corey Dillon.
Yeah. Yep.
He was a success. So, it's obviously a gamble every time they do it. And Newton is, he's a circus freak. But if he can be the old Superman, the team is still intact. I mean, there's a few players here and there I think they need to move around. Defense is still solid. But, if he can play like that, it's the AFC East, guys. I mean, Buffalo does look somewhat solid, but besides that, I mean, the Patriots should be able to make the playoffs.
Don't sleep on Tua. That's all I'm telling you. Don't sleep on Tua.
Listen, your division is almost like the NFC East, just about. Let's be real here.
Well,
no, I wouldn't say that.
Cowboys.
That was a powerhouse. That we were talking about. It's sad how the NFC East fell apart. They're talking about 4 powerhouse teams for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's just like, what the heck happened? But they'll come back again. I'm again a little bit of a Cowboys fan myself. I got a nice picture of Emmitt Smith hanging on the wall. Greatest running back of all time.
You got a picture with who?
Emmitt Smith.
Only the greatest running back ever. He really is. And unfortunately, he played for the Cowboys, but still.
Yep, but
he actually played for Arizona too.
Best years with the Dallas Cowboys.
Played for Arizona too.
Florida Gator, and that Florida Gator. I used to have an Emmitt Smith Florida Gators jersey. I'm a huge Florida Gators fan. Dan Werfel 96. Try and match that team. You can't do it. So, Emmitt's my guy.
Ron, what are your thoughts on COVID and how the NFL is approaching this? I know with you got the NBA's having their bubble, the NHL's got their bubble. Major League Baseball, Marlins just had an outbreak of COVID in their locker room. 14 players were tested positive for COVID-19. We all know it's going to happen. NFL players are going to test positive for COVID-19 altogether. Do you think the NFL is really that prepared for something like this to happen, where teams could get infected and it could affect game of play, or do you think we're expecting the NFL to handle this properly?
So my answer to that is, anyone prepared, really? I mean, this is a new thing to everyone. Everyone's trying to feel their way through it. Everyone's going to make mistakes. They're going to trip and fall. Hopefully not too bad where people lose their lives. I mean, this is where it's sticky. But here I cover our motto is we cover everything from high school to the pros down here. And we do a lot of interscholastic league coverage as well. And because Rhode Island is just, the high school kids here get overlooked because we're such a small state. But, we're going through this here at this, with the COVID, and do they want to cancel fall sports? Do they want to move fall sports to the spring? Then everyone's like, what about 3-sport athletes? So I know I'm making a circle, but I guess what I'm saying is, everybody's trying to figure this out. Now, the NFL obviously has a lot of money and they should have the smartest and the best doctors, trying to figure this out for them. But it's a crapshoot to me, that, so everyone just needs to, follow the practices the best that they can. And, I was watching the Red Sox game today against Baltimore, and there wasn't anyone in the stands, and it was hard to watch. It was tough to watch. So
you've clearly never seen a Baltimore game then.
Ouch.
I've seen plenty of Baltimore games. They're hard to watch. We're not too good to watch right now either. So, but it's tough. And my thought is that I think the NFL do everything that they possibly can to be correct, but no one's ever going to be 100% correct right now.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from too. I think I'm of the opinion that athletes, they're going to get it. I mean, it's just going to happen. You can do all of these precautions. You can do all these different things. You can bubble your teams. but chances are someone statistically is going to get it. And that's the thing, is not how I guess I don't look at the preparation so much as what happens after. And actually, there was a picture that went out today on Twitter of the 32 NFL teams and all of the plans that they have in place. And most of the teams, I think there was only about 12 of the teams that are still waiting to be approved. But the Buccaneers were one of the teams that actually had an approved plan for what's going to happen in case, COVID does what it does.
Yeah, well, so Tom Brady now.
Yeah, correct. So hey, you know what? He passed his too. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Ruth.
I just want to ask. Sorry, Ron. So you mentioned obviously like with the inter-school like tournaments and so on and so forth. Like if this whole like COVID thing still becomes an issue, starts affecting schools, starts affecting school athletics, college athletics, how much of a knock-on effect do you think that this could potentially have?
I hear him
10-1.
I couldn't hear all of your questions.
Sorry, my wife's yelling at me.
No, it's okay.
No, I was just saying if the coronavirus sort of becomes like an ongoing issue, how far do you think the knock-on effect is going to be affecting like scholastic sports, like competition between football players when they're kids, getting scouted for colleges, even getting into the college level? How far do you think sort of the ripple effects of this are going to be?
It's going to be deep. It's going to be deep because what's happening is, so we'll start here. Usually high school football. Now, trust me, people want to kill me for saying this, but it is the truth. High school football usually brings in enough money to fund most of the other sports through the school, right? So now every school athletic director, the superintendents, everyone's trying to figure out how to save high school football, if the fall gets canceled. So now they're talking about moving it. Now, Virginia just did it today. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Virginia moved fall sports to the winter. Now they can do that because they have the climate for it. Up here we couldn't do that, but they moved fall sports into the winter. And so now everyone's thing is, what if you're a 3-sport athlete, a 2-sport athlete, and all this kind of stuff? And what if your son plays football and lacrosse? What is he going to do? What about the lacrosse kids? Are they not going to get looks anymore? Baseball kids and all, there's so much that goes on. So colleges have closed campuses. You can't even go on visits anymore. So all these kids that are getting recruited, it's virtual recruiting, highlight videos, and all these kind of things that are more important than actually face-to-face meetings, which face-to-face meetings used to be important. The coach would feel the kid out, but now it's not like that anymore. So, the ripple effect is crazy. And I'll tell you, if Corona starts to peak up again, they're going to cancel it. They'll shut everything down. So all this talk of moving sports around and what's it going to do with the kids? And, the NCAA gave seniors a 5th year of eligibility this year. So if you were an NCAA athlete and you were a spring athlete, baseball, softball, lacrosse, you got another year of eligibility. Now, some kids probably flexed it, but most of them didn't take it. But what about the kids that were going to come in and play college ball as freshmen? Now those seniors stayed, so these coaches have to make choices. Does this kid get to come in? Does this kid get to, so the kids are losing spots. It's a huge ripple effect. It goes from youth all the way up into the pros. It's everything.
Ron, I want to circle back around to the Bucs, and as an outsider looking in from the New England perspective, how scared are you guys of the Buccaneers?
Well, all right. So
I think you've got him nervous.
I think I do. I think he's sweating his palms there.
No, I don't know.
Don't drop your phone, Ron.
I don't know when's the last time anyone ever asked me if we were scared of the Buccaneers. That's the first thing. It's hard.
Wow.
It might have been what? The year 2000, maybe? I don't know, somewhere around there. So it's been a minute, right? I've heard someone ask that question. But I'll tell you, I'll be able to tell after week 1, right? So week 1, the Bucs have the Saints.
Yep.
And to me, it's going to be it's going to be the offensive game of the year right out of the gate. Because, I mean, Breeze has something to prove. Brady has something to prove. Brady's got the weapons. He's got to produce. Breeze has weapons, so he has to produce. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hype around that game, and I'll be able to tell you more after that. I mean, if Brady just chokes, which I can almost guarantee isn't going to happen, then, I'll tell you I'm not really that scared. But if they go in there and they put 46 or 48 up on the Saints, or even 38, and they can hold the Saints to 17 or something like that, I'll be like, wow, these guys are legit. You just got to wait and see.
So usually before this whole pandemic and COVID happened, we would have the preseason happen that we would be able to get a good idea of how players are going to be. How do you think that's going to affect the NFL not having a preseason?
Well, it affects the NFL for sure, but it doesn't affect the Patriots. We actually have lost some of our key players in the preseason. So I'm all about not having a preseason. I mean, Belichick, I think he knows who's going to play.
Are you guys going to finish undefeated? That's how I feel talking to you right now.
I think the biggest question is how bad are they going to lose the division to the Buffalo Bills, who are probably going to win that division there?
We're not going to win the division this year.
Oh, okay.
Who's going to win the division?
We appreciate the honesty.
We have a chance at wild card. There's a chance. But if the Patriots don't make the playoffs this year, I get it, and I think a lot of us are bracing for it. If Cam Newton comes out and plays, could be a different story. I think he's the difference maker.
I agree with that.
Yep.
All right, Ron, before we let you go, thank you again so much for coming on the show. I know that we will be in touch soon. Can you give us a way too early prediction of our Tampa Bay Bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Hey, now, what do you want? You want a record, or do you want me to just tell you how far I think they're going to go?
I want a record, and I want to see how far you think we will go.
A record. I think 12-4.
Oh, sorry.
That's exactly what I said.
And you did? You really
about the Bucks? Yeah, 12-4, going 12-4 this year.
4 for the Bucks.
Oh, I thought you meant the Patriots.
Get to the NFC Championship game, but don't make it to the Super Bowl.
See that?
That's reasonable. I like that.
If they do make it to the Super Bowl, which obviously I have my fingers crossed, and I will obviously be there. We will be the first, James, you know what I'm about to say. We will be the first team in NFL history to ever play the Super Bowl in their home field.
Home court?
And I would
field. Sorry, I'm watching the Magic game over here.
Yeah, but if you think back to you go back a little bit, and I know you guys are going to say it doesn't matter, but when Joe Montana did this with the Chiefs, he did the same exact thing, and he took them all the way to the NFC Championship game. And I'm feeling the same way about Brady and the Bucks. And I'm rooting for you guys. People, like I said, anyone who's watching this from around here, and I plastered this everywhere, so hopefully you guys got some good viewership from this area, but people are gonna just murder me on social media.
Thank you for taking the L for us.
I'm pulling for you guys, and I already ordered a Brady jersey for one son and a Gronk jersey for the other. So
wow,
just whatever you do, don't wear that out in public in New England.
Yeah.
No. Rep that proud, buddy. You do what you do.
We all know what happened to red coats up in Boston.
Oh boy.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, Ron, thank you again for joining us, buddy. I appreciate you being on, and we'll definitely have to have you back soon, and maybe during the season we'll compare some notes on who has the better record, which we all know who that's going to be. But still, it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be you guys for sure. I do.
Absolutely. But I am with you though. I think Cam is going to start. I do. I don't think Stidham's going to be the guy. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. Cam's going to start.
All right, Ron. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Ron. We'll stay in touch. Take care, buddy.
Appreciate it.
There was another quarterback by the name of Brett Favre. Took his team to the NFC title game, and it was one interception short of going to the Super Bowl. So that was another little fun fact.
Yeah, I actually read about that game not too long ago because I'm reading a book called The Gunslinger. I actually just finished it. I'm very sad, but yeah, Jeff Pearlman. If anybody wants to look up a good sports author, Jeff Pearlman has some great books out there. He has an excellent one about the Dallas Cowboys as well and their dynasty.
So I wanted to ask you guys because really there's a couple things that we're going to finish up the show with tonight. Not going to be a super long show tonight, but that's okay. But I do want to talk about one thing that happened today that I woke up to that was very interesting.
I told you not to tell anybody about that, man.
Not that. The other thing. So this is what I want to tell you about today. So obviously there is a wide receiver. Yeah, exactly. There's a wide receiver. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name is Keenan Allen. He plays for the Chargers. And this gentleman decided to take it upon himself for whatever reason. You know, there really should be on Twitter, there should be a password protection system for people like this who tweet things and just don't know what they're talking about. El Bushman is probably looking up stuff to argue with me on this. However,
hold on.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish, and then you can have your moment because I already know what you're doing because we talked about this earlier. So here's what happened. So Keenan Allen decided to take it upon himself. Let's send both of you to your room. You're both to come out and make some, I would say, disparaging comments about one of our Buccaneer wide receivers, and then of course the other one who is just, I don't even know who he's talking about. So this was the tweet from Keenan Allen. Taking this to Twitter, he says, "Okay, I'm tired of biting my tongue." Spelled wrong.
He didn't. He said bitten.
Bitten my tongue. And he tags Cheetah, which we all know is Tyreek Hill. And then Mike Evans. And then, of course, he tags another receiver named Chris Godwin. No idea who that is.
Right.
And the list goes on and on. Are not, in all caps, a better receiver than me. Faster than me every day of the week. But separation, child, please, in all caps. And, of course, Mike Evans, being the gentleman that he is, decided to come back with, "You tagged the wrong Chris Godwin, LOL." And don't be mad at us. Don't be mad at us. We ain't making the rankings or care about them. I like the confidence, but be realistic. You not on my level, bro. And then of course Chris Godwin finishes it up with expletive, LOL. Don't sweat it, G. Chris Godwin ain't better than me either. So again, I love the little banter back and forth. Chris Godwin and Corey Hayes. I'm gonna put this comment up because this is the comment of the night.
He kind of stole what I was gonna say because I was like Alan tweeted a guy that hasn't been on Twitter since 2013.
7 years. Oh,
really?
Amazing. So I want to ask you guys, what's your? And I'm gonna start with El Bushman because I know
I'm not gonna argue with you.
No, I know what you're gonna do.
I don't believe that for a moment.
I'm not gonna argue. No, I
don't believe that.
You take it away and you tell me what you think.
There's nothing to take away. There's just somebody put a graphic up from ESPN that had stats between Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, and Keenan Allen had the better stats, but Mike Evans is the better wide receiver, and I say that because look at who has thrown to Mike Evans. Jameis Winston.
Oh, who's that? I don't know who that guy
exactly.
is.
So
a couple of other guys
when
as
you
well.
have
it's not just been Jameis.
When you've had those type of stats with the type of quarterbacks he's had to be with, you're definitely going to be the better wide receiver. Now, of course, Keenan Allen's had the luxury of playing with Philip Rivers for the past, how many years on his team. I just find the whole banter between the two guys awesome. Like, you need this right now. And it was fantastic. These two guys are going back and forth. And then he's stupid enough to tweet out to somebody that's totally the wrong person, which is even better. Chris Godwin. I'm sure Chris Godwin's hasn't looked at his phone in forever. He gets a ton of retweets and likes on this going, what the hell is going on right now? My phone is about to blow up.
We need to reach out to Chris Godwin
yes.
and we need to get him on this show.
I want Chris Godwin on the show.
I think every sports network in the world is trying to get hold of Chris Godwin now.
Here's the stupid thing about this is he's pissed off at Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Tyreek Hill when this is a list that the players voted on. So the players, his peers, were saying these guys are better than him. So if he's going to be pissed off at anybody, it should be the whole NFL, not these three guys in general.
No, I agree completely. With these Madden rates and the whole trying to put numbers on it. I keep it coming because it's putting chips on people's shoulders. It's giving us some drama to report on. So keep it coming. But I mean, Allen, you made yourself look like a fool, buddy. You didn't even get that person.
I'll still draft him in fantasy. But
and I'm sorry. If you're gonna say that you're a better wide receiver than Tyreek Hill, you need to take a nap, buddy, because you have lost your mind.
Britt Buck, what do you think?
This is the thing that Bruce brings up that, you know, a lot of people actually forget. You know what? Like, Chris Godwin is massively underrated. You know what? Mike Evans, it appears, is massively underrated because he's like one of only 2 wide receivers in his first 6 seasons to get like 1,000 yards each year. And you still have people who are famous for being analytical saying that actually Evans isn't very good and he's only profited from Jameis Winston making him as good as he is. But you know what? I say baloney to that because you know what? You've got to remember when he played in college, who was his quarterback, who he got drafted, who he got paid. And you telling me that Manziel made Mike Evans look good, and then Fitzpatrick, then Jameis, then everyone else who's thrown at Mike Evans has made him look good? You know what? Occam's razor. If the simplest answer is there, it's normally the truth. Mike Evans is one of the best receivers in the game.
And I think this getting the ball thrown to him by Tom Brady is just going to elevate his game.
See, that's what I think a lot of people miss. You know, we talk about the greatness of Tom Brady, and we talk about the greatness of just a career that he's had for over 20 years now. He makes everybody around him better. Right. And I don't just mean wide receivers. I mean offensive line. I mean defense. I mean everybody. He is one of those guys that is a win first mentality guy. And I think that is now to Jameis's credit, and this is what I will say about him. Jameis, I believe, wanted to win so badly. But the problem with Jameis is that he wanted to win so badly that he did dumb things, and that's what ultimately cost him a franchise quarterback. Listen, you can say whatever you want about Tom Brady, but I know what I'm getting with Tom Brady. I know what I'm getting with Drew Brees. I know what I'm getting with Phillip Rivers. And I think that stuff like this, where you're comparing Keenan Allen and Phillip Rivers to Mike Evans and Jameis Winston and Chris Godwin to Jameis Winston, like, it's just unfair to compare 2 people like that. Phillip Rivers is a veteran who, again, may not have won a Super Bowl, but he was probably one of the more consistent quarterbacks in the league every year. You knew, like I said, what you were going to get. So it's fun to look at. It's fun, and I thought it was funny. I even commented, to you guys this morning. I was like, "Oh, Mike Evans apparently had his cup of coffee today." Like he woke up and was feeling good about himself. And that's true, and he deserves to, because he's a guy that if he has 1,000-yard season this year, is going to be the standalone receiver for 1,000-yard consecutive seasons, and that's a big deal. That's not just a record that you make up and you're like, "Oh, well, the Bucs are." The Bucs are whatever 37-2 in games where the temperature is 85 or more. Like that's a dumb stat. The stat I'm looking at is he's going to be above Randy Moss, who is probably one of the greatest wide receivers in the NFL. Period.
Top 3.
Top 3 at least.
Top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
So that's I thought it was definitely fun. So that was definitely something cool to look at today. And here's the thing. We talked a little – we're not going to talk about COVID because COVID is what it is. We kind of touched on Keyshawn Vaughn, getting COVID or at least coming into contact with someone and going on the COVID list. I'll ask you guys, big deal, no deal about this? You think it's just kind of, formality at this point, or is this something that, may hurt him? Because obviously Ruth brought up a great point about preseason. Is this something that's going to hurt him to try to win a starting job? We'll start with Britt Buck.
Absolutely. But then again, I don't think he was being brought in to be a starter anyway. It wouldn't even surprise me if the coaches are saying, you know what, when you come back, take it easy. I think Keyshawn Vaughn is being brought in slowly. I don't think he's going to be expected to be a starter. I don't think he's going to be expected to be a massive contributor right away. I think the coaches know what they've got him with him in a physical ability kind of sense. They know what his skill set is. They want him to learn the playbook. They want him to learn this offense. They want it to become second nature so that when he is fit, he's learned everything and he can just slot straight in.
Yeah, I agree. I hope he takes this time to, concentrate on his health, and I hope it kind of wakes up everybody around him that this is something that they need to take seriously, because this could actually be detrimental to your career. If you can't play, you can't put up stats. So I just hope that he can make this a turnaround and he could, test negative as quick as possible and get on the field. But as Burt Buck mentioned, I don't think he's coming on to be a starter, but yeah, I'm praying for him.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think where they're at right now, it's going to happen. So you got to prepare for this, and you never know. The Bucs might dangle a little cheap little paycheck to Devonta Freeman and say, "Hey, we would like to maybe come here." I said cheap.
No,
cheap little paycheck.
He ain't cheap.
Anyway, I know he ain't cheap, but nobody's signed him just yet. So teams have got to be prepared for
that
something
minimum
like
is too much for him.
Hey, you got to knock it down. I would say teams are going to be prepared for this no matter what. They have to be prepared because it's going to happen. Like, players are going to happen, especially younger guys too. I mean, young stars that are coming up and the guys that they have already established on the team, they're going to get infected and it's going to happen. We've seen this with the Rays that a few of their stars got COVID-19. Now they're back playing and everything. So when it comes to the NFL, expect this to happen, and teams are going to have stuff in place where they're going to have to make up for it when it comes to their depth of bringing guys up. So I'd say no.
All right, one last little conversation piece before we get going. Obviously, the big trade of the weekend was Jamal Adams heading to Seattle from New York. Seattle paid a king's ransom to get this guy, to be honest with you. Oh, by the way, yes, you can send me your emails at jameswasright.com because the Bucs were never going to get Jamal Adams. You're welcome. I told you that for months, and everyone's like, ew, Jamal Adams. No, they're not getting him. They never were getting him. The Bucs were.
Did they also do a terrible
I think
British
the fact
accent?
that we picked up Tom and then we got Gronk, I think everybody was kind of just being really flustered, and you were like, we might as well pick him up too.
Well, they were saying about Todd Gurley, Devontae. They were saying about everybody wants to come and play for the Bucs.
I'm sure they do want to come, but the Bucs can't afford a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right now. How are they going to pay Jamal Adams? I'm serious. Listen, look at what Seattle gave up to get the Jets. Won this trade by far.
Absolutely.
Listen, he was not worth nearly what they paid.
Actually, I don't think. I think both sides won that trade. Because Seattle gets they get a premier strong safety. It makes them even more of a contender in that division. The thing with the Jets is they get the picks, but can they pick right in the draft? Are you going to trust? Are you going to trust Adam Gase and their GM to pick correctly?
Right. That's what it really comes down to.
I mean, they may have fleeced it. They may have won that. The Jets may have won that trade because they got all the picks back. But can they pick correctly in the draft and bring in playmakers that's going to make the Jets better? Because the past few drafts the Jets have done.
Yeah, they take advantage.
I mean, I completely agree. I don't think that Adam Gase would be suitable for maybe picking. But yeah, I don't think, honestly, that this is the Jets organization that we're talking about here. And you know what? Yes, any other team, you look at what was given up. Bradley McDougall, you know what? He's not a terrible safety. We've seen it firsthand. He is not a terrible safety at all. He's not Jamal Adams, but you know what? He is a very, very capable player. All the picks that they've picked up as well for it, you know what? Yeah, on the surface, it absolutely looks like the Jets have won. I don't think the Jets won. I just think the Seahawks have lost because they've got no guarantee that Jamal Adams is going to return. This could just be a very, very expensive rental. Okay? There's no guarantee.
If it brings them to the Super Bowl and brings them a Super Bowl, I mean, so what?
Okay. That's a fair enough point. But
and you could also dangle this Jamal Adams carrot as you could bring Jadeveon Clowney back too. Like, hey, he's still out there. He's still a free agent. We got Jamal Adams now on your defense. Why don't you come on back home to Seattle?
Okay. How do they replenish the team though? Like with all those draft picks that have gone, this is my point. This is why I don't think the Jets have won. I think Seattle
I
have
see what
lost.
you're saying. Yeah.
I think that they are going to massively. Sure, they got Jamal Adams, who's a great safety. There's no guarantee of him sticking around, and also they don't have any draft picks to make up anything at all if he does go.
Right. And how do you guys feel about Le'Veon Bell making a comment about him exiting that way? Because I guess Jamal Adams was a part of that recruiting Le'Veon Bell to the Jets, and he made a comment like, "Bro, you left me."
Yeah, I don't mind Le'Veon Bell making the comment because it's Le'Veon
right.
Bell. He's right too. Yeah, I mean that's the other side of it. He's completely right. Look, he didn't want to be there. Jamal Adams did not want to be in New York, which I can't 100% say that I blame him. He went.
Although technically he was in New Jersey.
Well, that too. But here's the thing, and this is Scott made a great point. The Jets won the trade, but will they make the right picks? And that's what Evan was saying as well. So here's what I will argue. This is what I will argue. Did Jamal Adams make the Seattle Seahawks the winner of the NFC West?
No.
Oh, sorry. There's the Rays game again.
It definitely
over the 49ers.
Can I get a scores update on the Rays game?
12-5.
12-5.
It definitely puts the Seattle Seahawks in that conversation because that division's already stacked as it is. I mean, you got the Niners, you got the Rams, and even the Cardinals are even starting to look like a dark horse in that division. So it puts the Seahawks more in that conversation now with the 49ers to win that division. I would say that.
I can respect that.
Well, you have to.
Ruth, do you think the Seattle Seahawks are going to win the NFC West now?
Like Evan said, they're pretty stacked on that end. But I mean, I love Pete Carroll and I love Russell Wilson and what they got going on in Seattle. So yeah, I would love to see them win the division. But I mean, does adding Adams make it happen? No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were my. If we go back to last week when we were predicting like the divisions, the Seahawks were originally my win. My choice to win, sorry, and this is before the trade. Does Jamal Adams make them defensively better? Yeah, you know what? Like you were talking about a team that used to have like Cam Chancellor back there in his peak and etc. and etc. Exactly. You know what? They're hard. I believe that is the end of the 7th for Atlanta.
It is actually.
It is, yeah. Hey,
there we go. It's like I'm psychic. But yeah. So you know what? They're going to make the team defensively better. I don't think that Jamal Adams is going to be that special thing that gets them into the Super Bowl. I just think that he's a good piece on a good team.
Yep, I agree on that.
I'm going to predict that he's going to have at least 12 interceptions on the season.
12?
Wow.
I'll take the under on that. I'll take the under on that.
No, I'll take the under. Way under.
I definitely take the under.
I'm taking the under there.
Gosh, if he gets 12 interceptions, I don't know.
You'll have to take me out to dinner.
Dinner's on Evan Bushman. If we do that, dinner is on Evan. That's
what?
Right.
What?
If Jamal Adams gets
dinner's on
JP.
JP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously
though, if Jamal Adams gets 12 picks this year, I will personally walk him from Seattle to Canton and just sit him in the Hall of Fame. I will just put him in like a little box. This is Jamal Adams. Stay.
All right, so we're wrapping up our time here. Man, 12. I'm still like blown away that you would pick a high number like that. Anyway, that's how many runs the Rays have. So just to tell you,
that's probably where I came up with that.
That's probably where the 12 came from. Anyway, all right. So let's end the show. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Just trivia with me.
We're doing trivia. Oh my gosh! I didn't even know we were doing trivia. All right, let's do a speed round trivia then, because I didn't know we were doing.
Cool. I wrote these.
Wow, Ruth the Truth is back, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, our host James Ludeman loses track of his own show.
All right, question
we didn't talk about trivia.
All right, welcome everybody. It's another edition of Tampa Bay Buccaneers Trivia with your host Ruth the Truth.
All right, so make sure you have the honest truth. Who was Tampa Bay's first 1,000-yard rusher?
Eric Rett.
Was it A?
Eric Rett.
Eric Rett.
Right.
Work done. Was it C? Ricky Bell, or was it D? James Wilder?
It's Eric Rett.
It was Eric Grant.
Eric Grant.
Yeah.
You guys are wrong. It was Ricky Bell.
Oh, I guess we're wrong.
In 1979, Bell enjoyed his finest season, rushing for 1,263 yards. He led the Buccaneers to win their first playoff win.
Can we double check that that's not yards from scrimmage?
Are we arguing statistics?
There is something that says that.
Yeah.
142 yards on 38 carries, scored 2 touchdowns. No, it doesn't say anything on yards from scrimmage. Anyways, next question.
Right.
Who did Tampa Bay take with the first overall pick in 1976 NFL draft? Was it A, Derek Brooks? Was it B, Steve Spurrier? Was it C, Warren Sapp? Or was it D, Leroy Selman?
Spurrier.
The good old football coach, right? Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
The old football coach.
The old quarterback, too.
Yeah, he was a quarterback.
Old football coach.
He wasn't a great quarterback, but
and
he
was also the
played
head
on
coach for Orlando Apollos. I had an interview with him when I covered the season. He's a great guy, by the way.
You too? Me too. I had an interview with him too. Yeah, you too.
Oh, me three. All right.
I'm sorry,
What's
but
the answer, gentlemen?
no, my answer is actually I'm not agreeing with these goofs here. The first pick of the franchise was Leroy Selman.
Yeah, he's probably right.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's probably right. Yeah. I wish
Are
this.
you frozen, Ruth?
Yeah.
No. The answer is Leroy Selman.
See, I knew it. I knew it.
Earned credentials primarily in Tampa Bay.
I said it wasn't Steve
Six-time
Spurrier.
Pro Bowl.
I miss those. I miss those.
All right, we'll
barbecue
do one more
rolls.
question, then we'll wrap it up. Who was Tampa Bay's leading passer in the 1979 NFC Championship game? Was it A, Doug Williams, B,
Doug Williams.
Jerry Eckwood,
Doug Williams.
C, Mike Ray,
Doug Williams.
or D,
Doug Williams.
Steve Young?
Doug
It's
Williams.
also Verde.
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams.
Bing,
Oh,
bing,
he
bing, bing.
actually-
Correct, gentlemen. Doug
It was,
Williams.
it was Salsa Verde, wasn't it?
Salsa
he-
Verde.
No, that's
He
the.
actually
Verde.
changed his name to Quiz Green.
Yeah.
Can,
All right,
can
well,
I
that's
take
all. I'm going to
Andre
wrap it up with
Barbar?
trivia for tonight. We will have more for episode 15 next week.
Wow, 15 next week. Jeez.
I know, we made it to 15. We're
We
still
can
doing
almost
that.
drive, guys. Almost. All right, we'll go around the horn here. Final thoughts, El Bushman. Of course, Sports Caffeine coming up tomorrow night. Who you got on the show? What's going on? And El Bushman, take it away.
Tomorrow night we have former MLB player Jay Gauze and also Locked on Rays host Kevin Weiss will join us on the show to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. So tune in tomorrow night 8:30 on Facebook Live and also Facebook Live and also Periscope.
I wonder if he's gonna tell me I'm an idiot about Hunter Renfroe. I'm kind of
Probably.
looking forward to that.
I will
But
make
that's-
sure Kevin does that. Don't worry.
All right, Ruth the Truth. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. I have 2 more finals tomorrow, and then I could sleep for 5 days because I took 5 days off of work.
Good job. Good luck. Good
Wow.
luck. Good luck.
Yeah, it's been a tough weekend for me, guys. I really
hashtag C's get degrees. There you go.
get degrees.
C's get degrees.
And make sure everybody donates as much as you can to Big Nasty's charitable fund. It is going to a great cause, helping kids get wheelchairs. So yeah, that's all for me, guys.
All right, Britt Buck, final thoughts, sir.
My final thought is printed nicely at the bottom of the screen here, guys. I know, some of you might have missed Big Nasty, who was on at the beginning of the show. We all know who he is, what he's about, the tremendous community and charity work that he does, and this is something that is actually extremely close to my heart. And I'm so pleased to obviously see Big Nasty doing this and sort of be given the chance to sort of reach you guys with this. The link is at the bottom of the screen. Please donate whatever you can. You might not have any idea at all, or you might have an idea, but these chairs are really, really life-changing for the people who need them. And, every little bit helps. So guys, the link is at the bottom of the screen. Donate, share the love, and I will see you guys episode 15.
All right. Well, I want to point out that in case you've heard screaming tonight coming from the living room, it is because the Rays game is on in my house. I'm just very thankful sports is back.
We didn't hear anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, I could definitely
That's
tell
how
you
we're
heard
keeping
stuff.
track of the score.
Yeah, because I know when the Rays score because I hear a woo coming from the living room. But anyway, no, I want to say, first of all, thank you all for watching tonight. If you feel so inclined, obviously, please donate to this below. This is an awesome opportunity. Thank you, Big Nasty, for coming on and talking about wheelchairs for kids. It is a great thing that they're doing, as everybody else has said here. But also send positive thoughts my way if you think about it. This Friday, I'm meeting with Town Square Media, which is Tide 100.9, which is the Alabama radio sports section, to be an intern for their sports department. So we will see. It'll be covering a lot of Alabama sports probably, but even still, we'll sneak some books in there too. But anyway, so just
remember us when you're famous.
Right.
Remember us when you're famous.
No. Out of all of us, I know who's going to be famous first here, and I'm not going to say that person's name, but it's definitely Ed. And so, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, appreciate you guys watching tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Episode 14. We are super excited. Sky's the limit from here, guys. Thank you all for watching. And as always, as we attempt to do every show, let's go Bucks. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Set the Sails. Listen to us on Apple Podcast, a Bucks Life Media production in association with FanStreamSports.com. See you next Monday on Set the Sails.